Welcome back to another episode of the Wrinkly Brain Podcast. This is a SmoothBrain EDH affiliated podcast where we like to goof and gaff and talk about the Commander format. I'm your host Jason, joined today by my co-host Cameron.
Howdy.
And today we're joined by our SmoothBrain EDH castmate, Sam.
Hello.
So, it has been a minute since you've been on the podcast, Sam.
It was.
What was the last topic you were here for?
Beginner magic or introduction to magic.
Remember.
It was 2 years.
I don't think I was in it. I don't think I was
2 years
on that
ago?
one with you.
Yeah.
Beginner. I was a
for 2
junior and
years.
I've already graduated.
Not 2 years. We've been doing it for a year and a half.
1 year?
Yeah, so this would have been...
know.
Yeah, your video, I think that one was probably close to the single digits of episode numbers. So it's been a minute.
Now that we have you, did you happen to listen to our last episode?
I did.
Yes.
That
I
we
saw
did?
Armadillo Cloak
Okay.
and I was
I
like,
was just
cool, I
curious
gotta
on
watch
it.
this one.
You would know.
Yeah, your self-insert card that we liked.
Yes.
We yeah, that was fun. I was just wondering what your thoughts were on our criticisms of it.
Very
Fast before we get
understandable.
into-
For context, for anyone who hasn't seen the previous episode, we did custom cards, and Sam is a big fan of the card Armadillo Cloak, so he made a commander that is Armadillo Cloak with all that glitters on it. So it was a 3-mana commander in Bant that has trample, +2/+2, gains life whenever it deals combat damage, distinctly different from
Not
lifelink.
lifelink.
And it gets +1/+1 for all artifacts and enchantments you control. Really, really strong commander.
Yeah.
So-
I'm a big fan of the Voltron style, so it's like, I gotta make the best Voltron commander out there.
Yeah.
You did it. Congratulations.
That would have been a top tier Voltron commander for sure, just as printed, because just even playing Assault Ring amplifies that thing's power.
Yes. Yes.
So it go crazy really fast. But today we're not talking about custom cards, at least not in the same sense. What we are talking about today is Secret Lairs. Love them or hate them, at this point they're a big part of the Magic product line. So why don't we just jump right into the first part of our main topic. What is a Secret Lair? What is a good Secret Lair? And how do we just generally feel about them? So, for framework, what a Secret Lair is a curated list of cards that you buy directly from Wizards of the Coast on a limited time sale. They may be open for a whole week, they may be open for a month, doesn't matter. Either way, you do not have a lot of time to get to these things. And the product can be anywhere from a single card with 4 tokens, like the first Secret Lair that was announced, Bitter Blossom Dreams, to a 100 card commander deck with some alternate art cards, like Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. Also, there's 175 unique Secret Lairs with over 400 unique arts at this point, and dear God, man.
I just threw up a little in my mouth. That there's 170. It just seems like yesterday we got the Bitter Blossom thing.
Yeah, this product has only been around for about 3 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty substantial amount of time, honestly, but yeah, it's still at a rate of over a Secret Lair a week, if you view it that way. There's so many of them.
Yay.
So, let's just ask, what makes a good Secret Lair? Because this is very contextual for a lot of people. Cameron, start us off. What is a good Secret Lair to you?
Okay. A good Secret Lair needs to be justified, and there's a couple ways for its existence. So one is that it has good reprint value. We'll give more specific examples later, but my mind goes to, at the time, the Praetors. I think they just printed all 5 of the Praetors for like $30 in a Secret Lair. It's like neat, because Hellish Norm was like $20 on our own. So cool, you know. And then there was also cool versions with like Phyrexianized and like foil, yada yada yada. Or the other justification in my mind is that it's a cool enough premise or unique enough to justify it. So my mind goes to, one example was the Yoji Shinikawa Secret Lair, like the different kind of art styles that they introduce and bring into Magic. Those are really cool. Those, in my mind, those kinds would be examples of good Secret Lairs.
And for people unaware, obviously, if you're watching this, I will have a picture of one of the cards from that Secret Lair on screen at the moment. But Yoji Shinikawa, I can't remember if it's Shinikawa or
Shinikawa. I think
it's Shinikawa. They are known for being the artist that does the artwork for like the Metal Gear series. So they have a very, very cool stylized artwork that is able to blend kind of like a Japanese traditional art style with a modern art style that looks weirdly futuristic. It's very nice.
It's really cool. I guess that we're only going over the good Secret Lairs. I don't have to get into what makes one bad yet.
I put it in, so you can leave that to me.
Sure. We'll probably touch more on this later. Bad ones are ones that introduce mechanically unique things, in my opinion. So like ones that are harder to reintroduce into the Magic sphere. So like the Walking Dead ones having walker tokens, or like as much as people rag on it, the Fortnite Secret Lair, I'm fine with because it was reprints of cards. But once you start introducing unique cards, that's where I start to get uneasy and feel gross.
Yeah. Mechanically unique cards are an important thing to talk about as it relates to Secret Lairs. But Sam, what do you think? What is a good Secret Lair for you?
Like Cameron said, for me it's a lot about reprint value and whether the cards are wanted to be reprinted or not. Like, do people want them? Is the supply low? Is it something that people want to actually buy? So, like, one of the ones that I thought was cool idea, but I didn't really vibe with was Mountain Go with the 4 lightning bolts. Because they're dirt cheap. You can get them anywhere, but just to have a Secret Lair of them didn't feel needed or wanted.
I feel like a Magic boomer. Y'all are going to list off Secret Lairs. I have no idea what the hell they are.
I'm also going to say that I actually disagree with Sam because I actually think the Lightning Go one is one of the better ones. Or the Mountain Go one is one of the better ones.
I mean, that's understandable. Like, everybody has different opinions, so I can understand. It is a really cool concept, and one of the arts I do really like, but just overall, I didn't care much for just 4 lightning bolts to be $30.
No, I feel that, and for people that put reprint value very highly as part of the Secret Lairs, that makes a lot of sense. Why you would say like a card that's worth $1, and why am I getting 4 of it? It's like any of the basic land ones are just immediate failures at that point.
Wasn't there one recently that was just like 8 mountains or something?
Yeah,
I thought so.
It was 10 mountains, but yeah, it was literally just mountains. And there's a lot of ones like there was one that had like the 80s style posters. It's like tech retro posters.
Those
sort
were
of thing.
Cool though. Those were cool art.
They look neat.
Like those. They don't print enough for basics, in my opinion. Like in the Secret Lairs, there's just not enough to, like, if you want to build a monocolored deck, you have to have a ton of them to match.
Right.
So like the full text lands, I love those.
30. See, I hate the full text lands.
Or you just get to the point where you don't give a shit about basics matching at all, and you're just like, neat. There's a Theros forest and there's a Lord of the Rings forest. We're good.
Okay, so all right, so this is really good because I like this debate that's going on here because I want to lay out what I view as a good Secret Lair. So, as Cameron mentioned, a good Secret Lair is used for creating something unique while still being completely replaceable. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, that means mechanically unique things are awful for Secret Lairs. Should not exist, right? And even if they do exist, they should be completely replaceable very quickly. The fact that we still don't have a version of Rick Steadfast
Where Rick
kills me.
Where
Rick at? Where Rick at? And they should be optional art or bling. I also prefer to maintain the Magic aesthetic or make slight changes to it. I don't actually like radical changes, but I do also think that the Magic aesthetic and cool artwork can work in a lot of different ways. Also, and this is a really important point as well, financial value is actually a really deep issue for WotC when talking about these. Because WotC, as a randomized product, cannot tell you what the single value of a card is.
Yeah.
So if it sells you a single card and says, this card is worth $30, suddenly they have determined what the price of a card is on the secondary market. And they are not allowed to do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more in a minute about how we feel about Secret Lairs. I have opinions on that too.
Mm-hmm. So for me, while reprint value is encouraged, inherently, it actually should not be a part of it just to avoid that legal mess.
Right.
So it should just be, welcome to skins, welcome to however you want to finance your freemium games. Like, this is the same thing.
But aren't the whole concept of Secret Lairs kind of like secondary market acknowledging, bordering on it?
Correct.
We'll get to that.
Well, I was going to say, that's why I completely oppose the existence of Secret Lairs, but...
they're here to stay.
Way. And it's really annoying as well, because we really like looking at Secret Lairs as like, oh, this is a way to get needed reprints out there, but it's like, because of the financial thing that ruins that. You can't do it. So in my example of some really good Secret Lairs, I think Orthological Studies is actually a really, really good Secret Lair. Like, it's just more realistic depiction of birds.
And it had some good reprints. I mean, if you care about the reprint side of things, had Swan Song and Birds of Paradise, which are good cards, and the arts were really pretty.
Absolutely, yeah, and it looked nice. It's a very calming Secret Lair. It's not, overly exact. A lot of people would look at that Secret Lair if they were doing a tier list. They put it very mid and be done with it. But I think it's actually it hits the tickets of what a good Secret Lair should be. Similarly, Kamigawa Inc., which was one that took existing cards and just gave us a like Japanese ink style printing of them.
That's really cool.
I think that was wonderful. Like weirdly enough, I think the Kami of the Crescent Moon is one of the better arts that they put into that one, which is really neat because I hate that card. But
look at this now.
Yeah. And then, similar how Sam mentioned Mountain Go for the 4 Lightning Bolts, I have Thalia Beyond the Hell Vault, which is just 4 copies of Thalia in different arts, as one of the better ones.
Oh, that Kami is really cool.
Yeah. So, another example, like, a kind of mixed feeling one for me, Showcase Kaldheim Part 1 and Part 2, right? Great art. You got Uro and Croxa in the unique style for Kaldheim's showcase frame, which is really cool. I'm glad they were able to do that. They didn't need to be split up. You could have made this all 6 cards in a single one instead of splitting it into 2. Also, it was not available in booster packs, and while I understand that the bonus sheet was in Strixhaven, the set immediately following it, that doesn't change the fact that I still think we could have done... It would have been a reasonable time to introduce the bonus sheet and just have the showcase frame for all of these cards that you think would fit Kaldheim. So, that said, the Strixhaven one did have a bonus one, and I still have to pay money for Fire Covenant, so I don't like that. I could have just been in the set.
Right.
And obviously a bad one, Walking Dead. Like, I harked on Rick already.
Yeah, where Rick? Where is he? Is he safe? Is he all right?
Yeah. Similarly, I put on Prime Slime as being a bad one. I think that is a radical departure from art style. So I don't really care for
what these cards were in that one.
Void Slime. It's a very cartoony Void Slime, for example. Scavenging Ooze. One of them's in a dumpster. Like, yeah, the artwork. It's very arcadey or very cartoony.
Oh, when I saw it, I thought it was like people high on acid looking at Magic cards.
Yeah, that's basically what it looks like to me, and that's not a style that I want. And this one might be really controversial as well. So our show is on Friday. Can you make it? That one is a 70s band album cover art one. I think that one's pretty cool, but even more controversial, I couldn't remember the name of it, so I didn't put it here. But the one where it's like Assassin's Trophy, but it looks metal as fuck. I don't like that one. It doesn't look like a Magic card to me.
No, I think objectively it is a cool card, but if it within the Magic universe, like the style doesn't work as well.
Yeah, it's not like a showcase or something that highlights a plane, so it just feels like it's been taken out of nowhere and shoved into Magic.
Yeah, it's very out of place, and I will also say, I've mentioned this before, but different art styles, having too many arts and too many hard-to-recognize arts does slow down the pace of play and makes it harder to approach the game. Mm-hmm. So, just going to say that if someone casts an Assassin's Trophy, if I've not seen that artwork before, it's going to make me stop, take a couple seconds to read what card I'm looking at, try to make out what I'm actually seeing, and then return it to my opponent and go, okay, now I understand what's happening. We just spent an extra 15 seconds when I could have just been searching for a land. Then there is one other thing that I think is a really, really good Secret Lair. And this is, if I was going to make a singular Secret Lair as like the standard for Secret Lairs, it is ones that celebrate something like an artist or an event.
Yeah.
So, one of my favorite artists is Johannes Voss. When he got a Secret Lair, guess what? That's the only Secret Lair I've ever bought.
Well, you've bought one more than me.
I bought exactly one. I didn't even really care for half the cards in that Secret Lair because, like, the chase card is Carpet of Flowers in that one.
Did the artists directly get like a lot more of the revenue from the Secret Lair or anything?
You know, that's a good question, but I would make the assumption of just being commissioned to make that artwork does make you more. So I would hope they get a percentage. I will also say Black is Magic, Pride Across the Multiverse, International Women's Day.
Excellent.
All of those are excellent. Particularly, I think we've gotten 2 Black is Magic, and genuinely, I still think the Black is Magic Soul Ring is one of the best Soul Ring arts out there.
It's sick.
So good. And it still fits within the Magic aesthetic, so I really like it. And similar, Year of the Rat, celebrating Chinese Lunar New Year. I think holiday ones are perfectly fine by me. They get a little more iffy for me because they're kind of generic, but at the same time, you know, when they did Year of the Rat, they made it very respectful. It was highlighting a different culture's style of artwork, and I think that was really important. Very cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Now, I will say my one mixed one is the Extra Life ones.
I'm curious why your mixed feelings on the on these ones. Wait. I have gone halfsies on one Secret Lair. I lied. It was this one. It was this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like the ones where the kids did the art.
They're
I'm sorry.
so cute. I have the crater hoof. It's so sweet.
Do you have the crater hoof that the kid drew?
Yes, I love it. It's so stupid.
Or that the adult...
It's not stupid.
See?
I like it. I like it. Leave me alone.
I understand that. But yeah, so... Going back into like how we feel about Secret Lairs and you know how the concept's being executed. Do we like where they're at?
May I speak?
For the practice? Absolutely.
Okay. I have extremely mixed feelings on them in general. Probably leaning more negative, but mixed in general. I have a whole little thing typed out here. I'm not gonna try to read it verbatim, but bear with me. So the whole
I present you the soapbox.
Thank you. The whole concept of Secret Lairs feel incredibly scummy to me. I feel gross thinking about them because WotC has came out time and time again being like, the secondary market isn't real. What are you talking about? And then they come out with Bitter Blossom and tokens for $40, where suspiciously Bitter Blossom on the secondary market, you know, somewhere around $30, $40, you know. So, like, what's to say they couldn't have sold it for 10 or 5? You know, absolutely nothing. So since WotC can't / won't acknowledge the secondary market, this just kind of feels like a way for them to sell singles at that kind of value while still not like legally acknowledging said secondary market. So like another one my mind goes back to is the Fetchland Secret Lair. Who remembers the Fetchland Secret Lair with the enemy fetches where you got a super special briefcase to display these Fetchlands? Yeah, that briefcase made this $200, something stupid.
$200.
Yeah,
I remember it being on display for months.
Which really sucks because those arts were sick. Those were really, really cool arts. And going back to Jason's, like, sure, it's bling, sure, but like, and like what made it, I mean, at that point, the enemy fetches were relatively expensive, right? Like a Scalding Tarn was still $50-$60. So the additive value of all of these fetch lands was somewhere around $150-$200 probably, right? In that ballpark. So there are good ones.
Less than at that point, but
yeah. But there are good ones, like Jason mentioned, like the ones highlighting events, or the charity ones, in my opinion, are great. But like, at the end of the day, this just seems like a way for WotC to cash in on that secondary market, you know, like get money out of that. And I may be completely like in the wrong on that. I don't know how y'all feel, but all in all, Secret Lairs are kind of gross. That is my spiel.
Yeah. I can't disagree. Sam, do you have anything you want to say? You have a rebuttal here?
Not really in a rebuttal, because I agree with that. It just feels, for the most part, like they're trying to fill the gaps between sets that they can still make product and get profit from.
What gaps between sets? We have like 2 months in between fucking sets now.
Exactly.
It's less than that.
Even then, they're just trying to...
I'm aggressive today.
Chill. Yeah, it's just... They're like the mechanically unique ones. For the people,
and don't get me wrong, I do not fault the people that want to buy these. If you want to buy these, they're really cool arts. Some of them have really cool cards. Go for it. Why the fuck would I care if you buy those? It's just the whole practice from WotC is kind of to me. Jason, what do you think?
No, I agree.
Okay.
I've already stated, like, I'm like firmly against the existence of Secret Lairs, especially in their current iteration. As mentioned before, so as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people disagree with this, but I think people should really just nut up and deal with it. Buying Magic cards is gambling. If you are buying packs, you are gambling.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Stop trying to say, like, oh, no, it's a product. I get cards. No, you're chasing a singular card. You really don't care about those commons and uncommons for the most part.
No. Everyone's advice for Magic, if you're building a deck, is to buy singles. Do never, ever fish from packs. It's not going to work for you.
Right.
What do you mean? I just bought some Commander Master pack and got a Fierce Guardianship. My first pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And
just in, Sam is an advocate for gambling. He is addicted. We're helping him.
We'll see. And this is the thing for me. Like, I personally don't care if you're gambling. Like,
no, me neither.
I'm actually not against gambling. Like, you want to go to a casino, so long as you understand the way you're spending your money and the consequences of your action. Who cares? Same goes with these things. Same goes with gacha gamers. I know you're fucking out there. Do not poll. Do not listen. Calm down. But the thing here is that Secret Lairs, not only do they go against the randomized component, which is the legal loophole that WotC gets to get around.
Yep.
They go strictly against that. But they also do it direct to sale. They do not do it through any third parties.
I forgot about that. Like, I mean, I didn't forget, but like that's another knock against it. Yes. Yeah.
So you guys may not be aware of this. Reminder to everyone: I used to work in an LGS, and these guys were customers there. All of those Secret Lairs that you saw on the wall, we didn't get those from a distributor or at a discounted price. We straight up just went on to the Secret Lair site and bought them.
Was there a maximum you could buy?
I think in some cases,
10?
yes. In most cases, yeah. I think like the max was like 10 or something like that. Either way, my boss maxed it out every single time that he could. Mm-hmm. So it didn't matter. He would then also go and find distributors who were using other people to exceed that limit by having like 30 employees sign up, buy 300 of them, and then buy from the distributors. So like...
Yeah.
This is just a scummy practice all around from a business standpoint that once again kills the LGS and it's competing with the LGS. So really don't care for that.
We also haven't even brought up how flawed the system of buying them is. The website always crashes whenever there's like a big one. Like, how long did it fucking take for the Heads I Win Tails You Lose deck to ship? Like, what was it? Like, was it a year or am I over exaggerating?
No, it was over a year.
Okay, I'm not over exaggerating.
It took over a year for Heads I Win, Tails You Lose to ship.
Which didn't have a mana crypt.
Yeah. Now, I'll say, I believe Cute to Brute was the second deck that they did of this type, and that one shipped just fine without issues and only took like a month or 6 weeks or something like that for it to get to people. Right, that's actually not that bad.
And didn't they just announce an Angel one as well?
Yes, they have an Angel one that's coming out, which, again, some people are like, yeah, this has some great reprints. Other people are like, what do I care? Right? And that indifference is what I think makes a good Secret Lair when somebody goes, yeah, that's for me. That's neat. That's a deck I would like to play. That's a finished product I can work with. I think that makes a good Secret Lair if you're going to do that. If you're going to have pre-constructed decks. Still think you should bring back your existing distribution centers or things like that, but whatever. I also understand that reducing third parties also reduces the cost to the consumer. So there's things to be said on the benefits of doing that. But Wizards really just needs to kind of make it clear whether or not you can just buy straight from them or not. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew this would be a fun episode because I've always harbored a lot of is resentment the right word for Secret Lairs? I don't know. I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I think, as I said, I think I summed it up best is when I feel gross when I think about it. It feels like,
Yeah. So, also, we haven't harked on this yet, but I think I have to hark on this. Joke Secret Lairs. The hyper niche joke Secret Lairs.
Do you have an example?
I do not. Full text basics.
Oh.
Oh, they're amazing though.
So, there's something I want to talk about real quick. There is a YouTuber, I cannot remember what his full name is. I think it's TBSK, something along those lines, where what he works on is presentations of design. So, like, he loves character design. He's going through and like analyzing every single Pokemon and talking about its design characteristics that make it cool or make it a good selling point, why it would be somebody's favorite. Mm-hmm. He also does this for League of Legends champions and League of Legends skins, which is how I found him. He had a recent short, I think it came out today or yesterday, talking about joke skins and how most joke skins fall flat because fundamentally they're either a hyper niche scenario, and the more exposure you have to a joke skin, the less funny it gets.
The concept of explaining the joke makes the joke funny.
So he was saying, like, the way you make a good joke skin is by making it have just an eternal level of humor to it. Which is why this was talking about, and I don't think either of you play League, right? Cool. So I get to share this with some handful of people in the comment section. But he's talking about how Draven is one of the best skins in the entire, like, one of the best joke skins ever made, because it is literally just the character Draven, but he put a comically large-sized bobblehead on top of him. And that's it!
Oh, that's hilarious. I just Googled it.
Yeah, he mentioned that, like, what made that funny is there's a reason why big head mode was always one of the cheats that you could find in early video games, because just seeing those animations have an inherent degree of funny to that. So, full text basics for me is a joke that only works because it has all this text. And that, a card that usually has 0 text on it, that makes it funny, right?
Yes, it does.
It's funny the first time. It's not funny the next week. And they instantly stop being funny to me. So, similarly, though, other like hyper niche products fall into that category, where it's like, oh, we did the skins for, and this is one that we can also hark on a little bit, the Lord of the Rings 90s cartoon, 90s animation.
Oh my god, how did I not bring that one up?
Mm-hmm.
That one hurt.
Reprint value was less than $5, if I remember correctly. Like, it had
it had nothing
in the deck. There was literally hardly any playable cards. Nobody would touch this. There's no reason for it. Correct. Right? Additionally, the art style is a severe departure from the normal art style.
Didn't they just copy-paste from the show, right? Like,
yeah, literally scenes from the show. So, like, I know, like, Shivan Bot talked about, like, oh, this was like the secret lair for him, and I was like, that's too niche, though. Like, that's so niche. Getting some stuff where we had kind of like the Blood Bowl Secret Lair, right? Where we just had a departure that into a kind of art style that could kind of make sense. Sure, Fortnite one.
It's I understand why you don't like those, but at least they're not mechanically unique. If that's where I would actually raise hell, is if it were a mechanically unique card that also was art style was like so far out in left field.
Yeah, I'll give them the Arcane one. At least was kind of fine because Arcane has a unique art style while still being an aesthetic that kind of fits Magic. Mm-hmm. So, and more importantly, the setting fits Magic. I could actually see Zaun or Piltover being a place that existed in the Magic universe because it has a lot of similarities to like Kaladesh and how it's visual component, not the cultural component.
I can see that.
So, and then there's one other one, because I believe this is technically not a secret lair, but it is functionally a secret lair in everything except name. Magic 30th Anniversary Edition.
Yeah, I was curious if we were going to bring that up. I almost did, because it's not like by name a secret lair, but it's functionally a secret lair.
Yeah. That one hard felt to me like just an experiment to see if they could get around rules that existed, right? Like how the Bitter Blossom one was a rule
an experiment.
Yeah, we can't see if we... And there's a good reason why they haven't... I don't think they've done a single one-card secret lair since that first one.
But the tokens, Jason. The tokens made it...
The 4 tokens.
The 4 tokens.
Right. Yeah, the 4 tokens.
Right.
Those could
right,
be
and that's the selling point.
Who knows?
No, we didn't do anything wrong. There were 4 tokens.
We were selling 4 tokens.
5 cards.
People wanted those tokens. Right?
No, excuse me. 1 magic card, but 4 tokens.
Don't forget the tokens are technically magic cards. There's 5 magic cards in
cards. They are made of cardboard.
Not by the rules text, but yeah, Magic 30th Anniversary Edition though, like we just violated the reserve list in its entirety.
I mean,
but they didn't. They aren't legal in anything, Chase.
Yeah, they're not legal.
No, they're not magic cards. They have a different back that says magic on it.
Yeah. It's not $1,000 for your chance hits and proxies that you could buy on any website. You know, the ones you need specifically for however much. Not advocating for that. I'm not. I promise.
Go to your
No.
Or just go to the local library and use 10 cents to print off a sheet of paper.
No, we would never.
I mean, I would certainly go to the look. I'll just go to the library, get my sheet of paper. I will handwrite some words on there. This is a plateau today. Fold up the paper, stick it in a sleeve. Behold, plateau.
My favorite is still right now the new non-snow duels, the tap duels that you just cross out the intercept.
Yeah.
Take a Sharpie. Just you don't need that.
Yeah. So this is Secret Lairs just feel like WotC pushing the boundaries of its own rules that it has set up or legal restrictions that it can't violate, and just seeing how it can get around it.
Self-inflicted damage.
But there are some Secret Lairs that we personally wouldn't mind seeing in the world. So we designed a couple of Secret Lairs conceptually or hand-selected the actual cards for it, and we're going to go and talk about them. What would be the secret lair that makes us pull the trigger? Cameron, start us off on your first one here.
Okay, I don't know if this one necessarily made me pull the trigger, but I thought of a pun, and puns are fun. So my pun is turns out you're dead. It's just 4 extra turn spells. So you have a time sieve, a final fortune, a time warp, and a time stretch. So immediately in my mind, it fills the requirement of 2 cards that are worth something and then 1 that you would never play. Okay, time sieve does see play, but it's not expensive.
Time sieve was... I think all of these are absolutely playable cards. Especially
they're all playable.
Time sieve and CDH play. Keep that in mind.
Yep, and Tivit. But so I thought it would be cool, like conceptually, to make it. So I thought of the pun, and I was like, haha, funny. But I thought on it more. And maybe each card, it could be kind of like a story through the cards. I think I've done that before. Mm-hmm. But like a character like discovering time magic through like a time sieve and like, oh, this is time magic, and Final Fortune's their first attempt at like channeling their time magic, and then time warp and then time warp is like a better attempt, and then time stretch is the best attempt. I don't know, but that character's not Teferi, because I love Teferi. He's in everything. Let's just. I don't know of any other characters that deals with time magic. That's why I asked. Y'all got any ideas? I'm not familiar with the lore. We can make one.
Specifically time magic.
It is kind of just a Teferi thing, isn't it?
Yeah, specifically time magic. There's like a handful of characters that can do things with time magic. Now, reality rewriting magic, on the other hand, I have a great character for this. Unfortunately, he does not actually fit for the story you want to tell, but that's Commodore Guff. I'm
open to changing this. I just think it's cool to have some kind of story, like, among the cards.
Commodore Guff's ability is he has basically foresight through literature. he can basically pull out a book or write a book, and what happens in that book happens.
Oh, that's sick.
So it's not changing time, slowing time, or forcing an additional action, but actually forcing the results of history via magic is something that Guff can do, and he is able to change the past a little bit with that magic. But it comes at a heavy cost. And he did that with the Phyrexian invasion, which is why Guff rewrites history as a card.
It's a good card, too.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Flavorfully, I would switch Time Stretch move Final Fortune to the end, because it's like a last-ditch effort of trying to, you're going to do this or you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's actually a really interesting approach on how you could do this storytelling. Like, Time Warp being the first one, and things go right. Time Stretch to keep it going on. Final Fortune as a last-ditch attempt, and it works.
Time Sieve, is it condensed into some kind of...
And Time Sieve being maybe Final Fortune, this was my last time walk, I can't do it anymore, and then regaining the ability to time warp at the cost of extra artifacts. Or Time Sieve could be the first one. It's like, oh my god, I actually did this I made a time machine.
That was my thought, was like, the holy shit, time machine, I have to find a way to replicate this.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you figure out the actual magic from there. So, like, there's... The important thing is Time Stretch can't go before Time Warp, but that is the only limitation I have on the order.
This is like an LSAT riddle. Or LSAT question. The time warp can't be, or has to be before Time Stretch, but Final Fortune can't be first, or something.
Let's jump down to Sam. Let's have you do your first one here.
My first one is all suited up. My first layer is a bunch of different Voltron type commanders so for example, I have Sir Gwyn, the new Calyx Guided by Fate, Tuvasa the Sunlit, and Gallia, Kindler of Hope, just listed there. Because those are both the most popular commanders, in my opinion, that I've seen, and things that would make good reprints. Especially for Tuvasa, because I don't think she has a reprint, does she?
No, unless there was like a judge foil or something I'm unaware of.
Or a list.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Yeah, I don't believe Tuvasa has a reprint, and I think she only exists in foil as well, so...
Yep, only Commander 18.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's an option for you.
Those are like the characters I was thinking about, or like the overall premise of it. But I wanted each art to, if like they're an equipment-based commander, like Sir Gwyn, I wanted them to be in as much armor and have as many swords on them as possible. If they're like Tuvasa, I wanted her to like have auras around her, possibly going Super Saiyan type stuff. Just all this other...
Just have her summon her stand. It's fine.
Have a stand, yeah. But maybe they would be like charging into a battle with all this stuff on them, but that would be my ideal like list of things, just to have all this. And then I even got like the promo cards in my mind. It's like the one card that's like hidden that you don't see in the Secret Lair. My first choice, y'all could probably guess.
We didn't even talk about that.
I forgot to bring that up. Okay, can we break for that for just a second?
Cool. Can I say something real quick?
Tell us your bonus card. Tell us your bonus card first.
Yeah. What is your bonus card?
My second choice that I'm going with is Rogok, but he's in armor that is way too big for him.
That is funny.
Oh, Rograk.
Rograk, son of Rogok, sorry.
Yeah.
But he's just like just like barely popping out of a breastplate or something, just so small. That is
cute.
Yeah.
Okay. But like,
what's your first choice though?
Armadillo Cloak.
Okay,
you should know this.
That makes sense.
So do we want to talk about or do you have? Sorry, Sam. Finish.
No, I was actually going to do a little segue into that. you didn't remember the name of the one with Thraxamundar, the Secret Lair with Thraxamundar, Assassin's Trophy, Anguish Unmaking is Party Hard, Shred Harder. And every secret card in that was the Stained Glass Angrath. Or, I'm not saying that right.
Oh, yeah, the Stained Glass Planeswalkers from War of the Spark that didn't get Stained Glass stuff.
But it was,
I don't think any of them
it was always the Rakdos one.
Yeah.
The Minotaur.
So,
yes.
Here is something I'm of the opinion of. Obviously, we want those basic lands, when you have them as a full Secret Lair, to be like a big bundle of them. I'm also perfectly fine with putting cool basic lands as the bonus cards.
I'm trying to figure out where I land on bonus cards or in general. Secret cards, I kind of don't like it because it further exemplifies that I'm buying a Secret Lair for it to not be a lottery, and yet you're going to put a random ass fucking bonus card in there. What's the difference between that and a Magic Pack?
Yep.
Because you might get hosed by your bonus card, or there was some earlier that like a fucking Necropotence, right? There were some that you could get literally anything, and like, I got a
Or how about those like $15, $16 Shadowborn Apostles? Yeah.
There's like there's the slivers. Also, some of them are expensive, right? Some of them are cheap.
So, it's all over the place with the bonus cards.
Yeah,
I do wish there was a little more consistency on that, but at the same time, if we did like only basic lands, people would get bored of that very quickly.
I just wish there was more consistency.
That's completely understandable.
But Sam, I really do like your suited up. I am a fellow equipment aficionado. I need to build Sergwyn, just as an aside.
She's good.
Yeah, I've been also thinking
She's
about her.
Really high mana.
I'll send you my deck list because I got a good one.
Oh hell yeah! But yeah, equipment, armor. Those are all kind of Voltron commanders. Suit them up, dog.
All right, let's jump over to my first one here.
You go.
So this, I did not pick individual cards. I'm going the concept here. There's maybe something that would be a great fit to it. In the comment section, please let me know which ones you think would work great for this. But I wanted to talk about cultural artworks. And in this context, I want to talk about ink scrolls. Because I mentioned before the Kamigawa ink and I remember the Kamigawa ink one because I was actually specifically trying to figure out where was the artwork for Ink Eye's Servant of Oni. Because that artwork slaps.
It's sick.
I love black and white, near black and white, monochromatic style art pieces. I think they look really cool, and ink scrolls are a really good way to do it. So I'm showing. You guys can't see this, but well, actually you can because it'll be on screen, and I'm forgetting how editing works. But I'm showing right now Ink Eye's Servant of Oni, The Eldest Reborn. Which Eldest Reborn has some kick-ass artwork.
It's a shame that it's like halved by because I can't fucking speak because it's
the cards of
saga. Thank you.
Well, see, that's the cool thing though. Some of the sagas with how these are designed, they are made to look like this, and I couldn't find the artwork because I know there's one out there that has this style of artwork, but I looked through all the sagas and couldn't determine which one it was. One of them looks like it is hand woven, like it is a hand woven tapestry. It has little bits coming off and stuff like that. That's amazing. That's cultural artwork that I love. The other artwork I put up here for them to see is the Blood Sky Massacre, which is a rough rare from Call Time. But the important thing on it is it depicts this very cool Norse tattoo, the sleeve on this guy who's also got some blood on him. Got some fire on him, got some scars on him, that sort of thing. And this telling of a culture and a society based on the artwork that they choose to depict, that's the thing I really like about sagas, even if they're not my favorite card type. So, what I want to do, and looking at the second page of this...
it's ECD.
Yeah. Also Conquers Death. I think is that a tapestry or is that a...
That was like a mosaic.
A mosaic tile.
Mosaic. It's still super cool.
I think it's Boseiju Reaches for the Sky or something along those
Boseiju
lines
Reaches
also
Skyward.
has a similar style. Reaches Skyward. There we go. That one also has a very similar art style.
And then History of Benalia is like stained glass window. These are sick.
And that's why it's like when they did the stained glass artwork on as the showcase frame for Dominaria Remastered, or Dominaria United, that was a really good choice. And again, I mentioned the monochromatic, and that artwork is like here for me. I showed you the second page. There's a second page for this. It's continuing on that, where I've got Jace the Perfected Mind, his like anime art style, pulling the sword out of his chest. More importantly, the Ickerslick foils are like, I love that. That Ickerslick Jin-Gitaxias, and the concept art Elishnorn was also a really good one, but that's not quite the same style. And then I put an artwork here for you all to look at. Do you know that artwork?
Is it Umezawa?
Life of Toshiro Umezawa.
Correct. The Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Didn't include the card, just the artwork, because I love that art piece as well. So what I want is this. Just give me another like scroll-based style of artwork or something that's depicting stories. You could do sagas as an option for it. I think that would be a pretty good way to do it. I don't have specific cards in mind that I particularly want to see, especially for sagas. Like Fable of the Mirror Breaker is like the best one, and that's sure.
I'd have an argument for that. Urza Saga.
Urza Saga would be a very good one, but it would be better if I could see, real life cultures or fantasy-esque style cultures reflecting real life with this style of artwork. Because the Blood Sky Massacre has really, really good art, and I really like it. I would like more stuff like that.
Now you got me looking at all these saga arts, and these have some of the best arts in Magic. Yeah. This is incredible.
Mm-hmm. The number of random pottery. And
I'm looking at the Shattered States era is the hilt of a fucking katana, and it's like etched and shit in the snow. Yeah. It's sick.
Yeah. Sagas have some of the best art out there. It's a little bit weird because of how they're represented on the card. You can't get all that detail in there, but when you actually zoom in on that art, oh my god, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my first Secret Lair. I don't have the individual cards for it because you could do this with a lot. Like, I'm talking about the Ickerslick foils being some Ickerslick artwork from, I think this one was March of the Machine. Just more please. More please. All right, Cameron, you want to do your second one?
Yeah, jumping from that into mine, I don't have a name for it yet, but it's called Dorks.
I think that is the name.
That is just the name.
That would be the name.
I don't know if WotC has ever officially acknowledged that like the colloquial is dorks for the mana dorks.
They mention it.
They have? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is... So these are some of the 4 mana. I picked 4 mana dorks. It's really pick your poison. I just wanted to make sure they were good. I did Noble Hierarch, Urza Lord High Artificer because he technically is a dork. Treasonous Ogre, a red dork, and then Lana War Tribe because there has to be one shit one. That is requisite for these Secret Lairs, by the way. There is one that does not matter.
Sure.
This is funny aside. Lana War Tribe is the card that broke me and made me quit playing Modern because I played Modern Elves and we were promised a really cool elf card. Then we got 3 elves and a fucking trench coat. So because of this, I have some art ideas for Lana War Tribe. Mine was like 3 young elves in a trench coat trying to buy something, being little nefarious little scoundrels. Getting like a obnoxiously big cake or something, and Jason had the idea of 3 college kids trying to get into a bar. There's like 3 elves trying to get in a bar. That one's fucking great. For Urza, I thought of like Urza like tinkering at a desk with like some robots or something. That's just kind of cute, you know. Treasonous, so Noble Hierarch and Treasonous Ogre are kind of one and the same. Noble Hierarch, like a teacher or another student tutoring another student, being a nerd. And helping them do homework, and then Treasonous Ogre being that orc, from their perspective, like this fucking sucks.
Yeah, if it wasn't clear, the whole idea of playing on the idea of dorks being nerds or dorks or studious in some sort of way, students, that's the joke here, and this is a joke Secret Lair, but I do enjoy the concept of it.
Thank you.
They're all wearing glasses.
Yes, they all have.
All glasses.
I mean, like us,
Oh,
we're all
oh,
wearing
wait.
glasses.
Like
yeah.
us, we are.
Are we all already take off
anime,
over here?
like, I'll make sure to put like anime glasses pose.
Get the glare in there.
God, now I'm just imagining treasonous ogre as a fucking Chunibyo, like, yes, I will destroy the world.
Oh yeah. That's fucking funny too. There's so many ways you could go with this. I don't know. I thought of mana dorks and I was like, dorks. You see, Jason thought like, oh, let's explore different cultures and different like culturally relevant arts and let's get more of that out in the world. And I thought of dork.
I think it's cool.
Thank you.
I love it.
Mine were a pun and dorks.
All right, let's go on to the next one. We got Sam's second one here.
My second one, actually, now that we've started the podcast, it kind of hurts what Jason said, where the art slows down the game sometimes. Mm-hmm. But my second layer is the swords of X and Y. Like I said, Voltron player, so I'm always needing the swords, even if they're not great. I always want them.
They are good.
But, well, really body and mind.
Yeah.
Really?
In Cube, well, in Commander, yeah.
Oh.
But in Cube, that card's a fucking house.
Fair enough. But it bugs me that they're not held the same way or at the same angle in any of them. I just want... they don't have to be borderless or showcase. It would be awesome if they were. But I just need all the swords to be held the same way at the same angle.
Orient them in the same direction.
Same direction.
For our example, you've given us 4 swords. Are you wanting these 4 specifically or just all of them?
I was just all of them. Like, just have them all in the same one because, like, okay. I have listed here, like, Sword and Feast and Famine and Sword of Truth and Justice. They are very close. The arms are coming in from different directions.
All right.
So,
Sam, I think I have the solution for this for you that would make a pretty cool art piece as well. Tombs. Where you have the ritual tombstones where a statue is holding the sword in the same orientation every time.
Oh, yeah.
And that way you can change, to give it its visual distinction, you change the aura that is created from the sword. So mind and body would have a dichotomy of things like an exploration of mental studies and building of the body, right? So you can express both of that truth and justice and feast and famine in what is immediately surrounding that sarcophagus or tombstone or whatever you want to call it.
So not Sam's idea. Mine actually kind of goes against Sam's idea, but I thought of, you know how they've done the big mural pieces with like D&D or like the latest Lord of the Rings set, somehow having like them clashing, and make it a big mural for all 10 swords.
That'd be pretty cool. I can see that.
Like a big battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be good. And I see you have a bonus card here, Sam.
Yes. Because even though it's not legal, the honorary card has to be Sword of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
We're going to get a gold dragon one way or another.
We're going to get the gold dragon.
A D20, and if you roll a 20, you get the dragon?
Yep.
Something like that.
I think
it's a joke card, but
it's fun, though.
I actually can't remember it.
I'm looking it up.
The change in the mechanics. I can't remember if that one's actually legal now or something like that. I think it might not be allowed still, but
I think it's still unset.
Dungeons and Dragons. It has +2/+2 and protection from rogues and clerics. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, create a 4/4 gold dragon, and if you roll a d20, then you do roll a d20. If you nat 20, you do it again. So you make another 4/4 get to roll again.
That was it.
But now the d20s exist in Magic, that could functionally work. You
actually could bring this in. It would be a little bit weird with the protection from rogues and clerics, but
right. But like even if Sam wanted to put this in a deck, we'd be like, okay, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would be a perfectly fine black border card. Like, you actually could do that nowadays. Yeah, I think that's a neat idea, and if you actually wanted to use the bonus card slot as an option to get a black bordered version of sort of Dungeons and Dragons, that would actually make some sense. It's kind of an announcement of making that legal.
And it would also be kind of cool if like all the arts had like a panorama feel to them. Like all the tombs are like lined up beside each other, like they were an army.
You can do it that way
together. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see a little bit of crossover in the artwork from the blues being next to each other and sharing a little bit of that aura. That'd be cool. All right, so let's get on to my final secret lair that I want to talk about, which is, well, first, a little bit of lead up. We have had artist-specific secret lairs plenty of times at this point. You had everyone from Phil Foglio, and I believe Richard King Ferguson has also done one. Maybe wrong on that one. You've gotten Johannes Voss in a very unique style. You've had...
Seb McKinnon.
Always stink at saying her name, but Magali Benevieu? I can't speak French. If someone here speaks French, congratulations, you can pronounce it correctly.
Where's Gil?
Where's Jill? Where's Jill? But, that Elvish Mystic that came out of that was one of the best art pieces that we have in Magic, honestly. It's top 20 for me, for sure. And there's other artists that deserve some credit. Like, I would be happy to see another art series for Johannes Voss. Even I love Johannes Voss. So, and the artwork I chose for this one is Gift of Orzhova, who is one of the artworks that some people contribute to being a top 20 piece of artwork in all of Magic as well. Many people I've met have said this is their favorite, this is their playmat, this is what they work with.
It's incredible.
Yeah, Magali getting another one would be great. Victor Adame-Minguez, I don't believe has one yet. And I think Victor is highly underappreciated as one of the current Magic artists. The artwork I chose here is the invention for Platinum Angel that he did, which I had as my background on my phone for like a couple of years. This is just, it is immaculate artwork. Granted, I did open my phone and then immediately flashbang myself, but it's really good. And another artist I think would be a great one to have another art series for is Raymond Swanland, who has a very unique style of, he loves having these, he has this big light contrast on his artwork, very spiky style, but he loves putting bends to spikes, to having a natural flow to something that's extremely spiky. So, it's very unique. Probably the most famous card that Raymond Swanland did was the original art for Wormcoil Engine. So, for people who know what that card... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he also did Arid Mesa. I just looked him up.
Yeah, he's done a lot. He's one of the... I would say old guard, but he's one of the mid-guard. Like, he's been around for a really long time. Mid-guard. It's like the new guard, the mid-guard, and the old guard, whatever you want to work with. Mm-hmm. All right. And now here's the last thing to talk. What I want is not a simple art series for them. Not another 6 cards, 5-6 cards, whatever. I want a whole commander deck. There is a casual format called Vintage Art Constructed, where all cards in your deck have to share an artist, including the basic lands, which is the big restriction on what is viable in Vintage Art Constructed. If you don't have basics, you're going to have a really hard time. Let's just do that, but with commander decks. Like, give me some 3 or 4 or 5 color commander decks. Give me one that's led by a commander that Victor Adame-Minguez gets to make, or not a mechanically unique card, but they get to do the artwork. Raymond Swanland having one of these. That would be really, really cool.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I really like this idea, but that's a lot of work for one artist to, have a whole deck.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
Because if you pick an artist like Raymond Swanland, who has almost, 100 pieces at this point?
It was somewhere around. I'm on Minguez now, and they have 163.
Yeah, 163 pieces already. You get to use a lot of existing artwork.
That's true.
And, for example, now we already did the Cute to Brute, in which had Essica as the commander on it. Johannes Voss was the one who painted Essica. So it's very, very easy for Johannes to just do a couple of basics, WotC can continue to print a terrible mana base. They love to do that.
They do that.
In their commander decks. So you can do that. You can have a lot of cool artwork and art styles, and you can also let them have a condensed style or a condensed group of cards that they get to work on. And I think that's a fun project that a lot of those artists would like the idea of saying, hey, we want to celebrate you. Can you do 40 commissions for us? They would go, holy shit, that's a lot. What are we doing? We're making a commander deck just for you? I will buy that commander deck myself. Yes, we're going to do that.
That would be really cool. I'm also just going through and seeing, like, I'm looking at Minguez's Magic portfolio, and it's like, I've cast that card so many times, and it's never even registered that they did that art. Yeah,
the card that Minguez has printed that's probably been done the most is Bone Crusher Giant. Like, that's the card that's that Minguez made that has seen the most play. He's very, very good for playing earthy tones right now.
So, like, I was trying to bling out a Modern Elves deck. And so, like, I had Minguez did the promo Llanowar Elves. Like, it's all green. And so I had 4 of those. And he also did the dual decks Azuri Renegade Leader that I bought, like, 4 of. It's just really cool going through and being like, I played these.
Yeah, you'd probably enjoy knowing this. Minguez is very firmly a green player.
Let's go!
Like, when I ran into him at, I think this was GP Atlanta in, like, 2019 or something like that. No, it's like 2017, 2018? Sometime around then. Like, he was playing a Multani deck.
I've been wanting to do a Multani mill deck where you mill out your opponents with Altar of Dementia because Multani just keeps getting bigger.
So, there you go. Mono green with Victor Adam Minguez. All he has to print, the only land he would have to do is a forest at that point. You got it, buddy. Unless he wants to do a couple of non-basics, that's the other nice thing, is you get to have them work on something they wouldn't normally work on, perhaps, and that may be a negative to them. So I understand if some artists would push back on that, saying, like, I don't do landscapes. I don't want to do landscapes. I do people. Yeah. But still, I like the idea of this. I think it's cool. And that's a real celebration of an artist, not just 5 cards. It's a whole deck dedicated to you. All right. Let's go on to the last one. Sam, you gave us a third one here.
I just was, like, brainstorming. I didn't know what to do. This was something that's been on my mind for a while. My third Secret Lair is just all the dual lands, but snow-covered. We got snow-covered Volcanic Island, snow-covered Bayou, snow-covered Plateau. It's just that simple.
So
just
that's the
make
neat
it snow,
part.
5-head.
I don't think it's that simple. Number one, well, like, you would have to give them different names. I would love this. Don't get me wrong.
We're literally just going to sprinkle some snow on those things like we're Salt Bay and call it a day.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, there's a couple of reasons why this hasn't come around yet. First off, as a Secret Lair, we're making mechanically unique cards in a Secret Lair. Shoot me. But the main reason this hasn't come around is because one of the things about the reserve list is it when they did the old dual decks, or like the premium deck series, they actually had some reserve list cards in those. And they were like, well, we didn't print the exact card. We printed
functional reprint.
We printed a special reprint of it. That's not the exact card. And it's like, no. You functionally reprinted it, right? Then they tried it again with a card that has the exact same mechanics, but it has a different it has a different name. Same type line, same everything, same mechanics, just a different name. And they're like, no. That violates the spirit of the reserve list as well. Because you have made a functional reprint of that card.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we
haven't seen it yet. Snowlands are a functional reprint or Snow Duels, I should say, would be a functional reprint of Dual Lands.
Dual Lands.
Okay,
And if we're going to violate the reserve list, which I am all for...
How would you like to change it?
Go ahead, Sam.
Gain 1 life.
That make them better than the dual.
Easy.
ETB
make it so
life.
that they're just... Make it so they are strictly better.
They're strictly better.
Let's power creep duels, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah, and that's...
Oh, that would be great. I do not ever foresee them. I think they've came out and said that the dual lands already were a mistake, and they're not going to make anything better than them.
Mm. Yeah, there were... From the original set, there were intended to be cards that were clearly better than other cards as kind of both a learning experience and because the assumption when Richard Garfield designed Magic the Gathering was he expected people to buy a couple of cards, like, I'll buy a few packs, make a deck out of that, and play with each other. So one player having one copy of a Black Lotus was not an issue. It just meant that they occasionally had some nut draws. Also, the rules were...
Yeah, there was no card limit. You could play you could play 18 mountains and 30 bolts, or 32 bolts.
Channel Fireball.
42 bolts.
Yeah, all the copies of Channel Fireball and Black Lotus to make that instant one-turn combo. Yeah, so stuff like that doesn't exactly float. There was a lot of design mistakes in Alpha that are having ramifications now. The original duels technically fall in that category.
Unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate.
I miss them.
But it is food for thought. Just because, I've had this discussion with people before, and at what point could you reprint the dual lands not as functional reprints? And I think shock lands are almost as close as we can get to that without it being maybe lose 1 life or yeah.
One that I saw that I liked, somebody mentioned, was discarding a card on ETB.
Ooh, that's spicy. Some decks want it. Oh my god, that Reanimator. Oh, I'm gonna puke.
Yeah, that was the issue.
Some decks want that.
Yeah.
Again,
additionally, the idea of if you have no cards in hand, then it just doesn't matter, but also it can just come into play tapped anyway, so it doesn't matter. Or making your opponent gain the life as opposed to you gain the life.
Yeah. I mean, speaking from a commander's perspective, for y'all listening, it is of my opinion and many's that you don't need the real dual lands. They're not going to help your deck that much.
No. Also, for when you would buy a dual land, buy fetches first.
Buy fetches. Or if you really want to spend $700 on a UC or whatever it is, buy a Cradle first. Cradle is
It depends on the colors you play, right?
Like if you're if you're a primarily green player and you want to buy a Trop and the value you would get from a Cradle is going to vastly outweigh anything you would get from any of the duels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you're going to do it, if you already have your shock lands, get your fetch lands first, because the fetch lands each fetch land you put in your deck is more powerful than the dual land you would get with it. Important point.
I mean, the reason that duels are so busted is because fetch lands, but that's a whole nother podcast topic.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So if you're looking to upgrade your mana base, start there. If you're not looking to upgrade your mana base and you just want dual lands, sure.
More power to you.
Best of luck to you.
More power to you.
Yeah. But yeah, final thoughts on Secret Lairs in general. Anybody?
My stance has not changed in the hour that we have talked. I still think they are gross.
There are some I like, some I don't. Mechanically unique cards don't sit right with me unless they're going to be either in the set that's coming out next or is going to be available somewhere else in a Magic style that's not part of like a Universe Beyond thing. But overall, I'm indifferent. If I find one I like, I might get it, might not. It's just as long as people have a way to express what they like and there are different options for people to choose from when they want to play a deck, I don't mind.
Yeah. It's style is always going to be in the eye, like eye of the beholder, what beauty is, so to speak. And some of these things are going to be things that people love. Some of these things are going to be things that people hate. You know, I think one of my favorite ones is, again, talking about those like metal posters, the with the Assassin's Trophy and Thraximundar. Like, I know that I think it's Mental Misplays absolutely adores those things. I think they're really cool. Either that or was Play to Win, or it's both of them.
Yeah.
And they just that one is one that's like very stylized and pretty well received overall. My personal opinion on that type of style is it's actually much better left as like proxies, homemade proxies, as opposed to official cards. But at the same time, Secret Lairs are Secret Lairs. Like, they're what they exist as. I agree with Cameron. The whole practice of them is what's icky, not necessarily that like
if you like them, then the more power to you. If you want to buy them, I hold no ill will for you. I'm actually happy that the product exists and makes you happy. But the whole thing as a whole is icky.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is something that's a little bit of a hard hurdle to overcome for players like me. But that said, there's some good ones. There's some cool things they're doing with it. I will absolutely put my foot down and say that Black is Magic is one of the absolute best Secret Lairs they've ever made. And I think they should continue to make more of them. I don't care if you sell them on Juneteenth Day every year or something like that. That is something.
That Bearscape art for the Pride Month.
Oh my god.
Sick.
We didn't even mention
Bearscape.
Oh my god. Bearscape. Thank you. Love that art. Thank you for depicting like a very wholesome depiction of like traditionally masculine gay men, and also that pun. Thank you.
We needed the tokens. We need the tokens for it.
So good. It's so good.
It's excellent.
All right, we're all good?
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right, then. Thank you all very much for watching another episode of the Wrinkly Brain Podcast. If you want to see some edited gameplay video, check out our main channel, SmoothBrainEDH. We upload every Saturday. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. If you'd like to talk to us directly, feel free to join our Discord, or if you're interested in supporting us financially, check out our Patreon. All links are directly in the description or in our link tree. So, this has been Jason with Cameron and Sam. Thank you all very much and have a great day.